Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. And today, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we're gonna get straight to the goddamn point, because this brand new full-length studio album, Absolute Elsewhere, from cosmic modern death metal titans Blood Incantation, is not only an excellent album, but it is also their best album to date, one of the best death metal albums of 2024, one of the best metal albums in any subgenre of 2024, and also, quite possibly, dare I argue, in fact, I do dare argue right now, a perfect album? Maybe? Possibly? Potentially? Hypothetically, I'm kind of feeling it. I don't normally give out 5 out of 5 reviews and scores and such, but right now, I'm kind of feeling it, man. This album's kind of great, man. Oh, come on. Cut the crap, Mr. Meltdown. You and I both know this ain't nothing but a bunch of pussy poser, artsy-fartsy, fake death metal garbage made by hipsters and nerds and vegans and liberals and... God damn it, can I be honest with you for a minute? I kinda like this album. I know that doing so goes against this entire image that I have constructed, that I have presented to you time and time again, but honestly, I kinda like this album. Yeah, it's great, right? Yeah, honestly, I kinda liked it. This album makes me want to break into the planetarium and get hammered drunk. This album makes me wish I were a Kang the Conqueror-esque intergalactic warlord, pondering over my own power and place in the universe. This album makes me realize I view the world so black and white, I forgot about all the shades of color out there. It makes me realize I've worked so hard to be true metal all of the time that I've missed out on so many wonderful and fulfilling experiences. I'm nothing but a caricature, Mr. Meltdown. A husk of a shell of a man. I'm empty, one-dimensional. I've wasted my life. Okay, that got really real really quickly. I think you should speak to a therapist and not me. Thrashin' Jackson, also, go outside. I cannot stress how much that alone might solve some of your problems. Anyway, Absolute Elsewhere, brand new album from Blood Incantation. If you've paid any amount of attention to death metal over the course of the last decade, then there's a very strong chance, a very high probability, a very real likelihood that you're already very familiar with Blood Incantation and everything that they do and everything that they have done, including, especially, 2019's Hidden History of the Human Race, also 2022's Time Wave Zero EP and last year's Luminescent Bridge EP, all smash hits, critical, commercial darlings, beloved by metalheads worldwide. To put it quite bluntly, Blood Incantation are kind of a big deal within the death metal world right now, within the metal world as a whole right now. And as such, this has been one of the most highly anticipated metal albums of 2024. And just in case that whole little intro bit with Thrashin' Jackson didn't make it pretty explicitly clear, allow me to make it so right now. The hype is fucking real. Absolute Elsewhere is both the combination of and the culmination of everything that Blood Incantation have done and succeeded at doing up to this point. The best and the strongest and the most unique elements from all of the records we just named, brought together in a fascinating, immersive, atmospheric, dynamic, cinematic, and beautiful package. It is stuffed like a can of sardines with a variety of influences and flavors and spices from classic death metal, from progressive death metal, from ambient music, electronic music, and even old school 70s psychedelic and progressive rock, with absolute immaculate production, crushing and crystal clear simultaneously, and also some of the best performances you'll hear on any metal record in 2024. That last little factoid should be the least surprising of all of these factoids, because because, I mean, the talent of the Blood Incantation crew is well documented, not just in Blood Incantation, not just because of Blood Incantation, but also because these guys are active in a slew of other projects like Spectral Voice, Black Curse, Wayfarer. Like, these guys, we know that they can deliver the fucking goods, but goddamn, it still needs to be said, they really delivered the motherfucking goods here. Now, the actual musical content of the album itself can be split up into two parts, the first of which being the Stargate, the second of which being the message. And there are three little subsections and mini chapters within these two tracks, each titled Tablets 1 through 3. Conceptually and thematically, things are somewhat vague, played somewhat loose. It does feel like parts of the record are kind of open to interpretation. A very literal analysis of the record would be there's a message that's being delivered via the Stargate across time and space, and that does feel accurate, to be fair. But personally, I prefer how Paul Riedel describes the record here in this press release, writing, "It's about consciousness. The album plays like a soundtrack to a movie about the battle of consciousness and the war against human consciousness and love, acceptance and peace, and all these things that blossom out of heightened states of awareness and our consciousness expanding. It's an inherently psychedelic record, but it's also mystical." The Stargate Tablet 1 officially kicks off the album with a bubbly blast of synths and electronics that make it sound as if the Stargate is booting up for the first time in a very long time. After this, we are treated to a dreadful and dramatic display of ominous tones and dissonant noises and churning, pounding, pummeling death metal progressions, gradually accelerating and evolving in speed and brutality. Shades of influence from Nocturnus, Pestilence, and Gorguts are aplenty here, with a nice variety of twisted, complex, and cosmic riffage and batterings and beatdowns. I'm especially loving the very explosive climax and close to this song with roaring guttural vocals and some surprisingly triumphant guitar work as well. That said, though, where the track really shines, in my opinion, is in a detour sandwiched in between this extremity into progressive rock, with more playful, expressive percussion and keyboards and guitar stuff all working together in harmony and in unison to create some soaring melodies and some very immersive, calming tones and atmospheres. It does a great job at constantly building upon itself and introducing new layers and new ideas in a way that makes sense, in a way that feels organic and natural, and also transitioning back into the more cosmic progressive death metal. You know, it's not as jarring as in theory it might sound. Then there's the following cut or chapter, subsection if you prefer, the Stargate Tablet 2, which pretty much goes into almost full-blown ambient synthwave territory with spoken word vocals and a variety of electronic flourishes and textures and touches, and also some great synth and keyboard work, apparently not only heavily inspired by Tangerine Dream, but featuring a member of Tangerine Dream. That's kind of cool. I didn't even know those guys were still around. I love how meditative and peaceful this whole section feels. I love how it gradually incorporates mellotron and acoustics and strings and flutes later on, and then paves a way for a return to some cosmic progressive death metal bombast, with some absolutely gargantuan seismic grooves and a variety of harrowing tones and terrifying textures that, honestly, for a hot minute almost brings to mind the aforementioned Spectral Voice. And then Tablet 3 closes out the Stargate in brutal and epic fashion with obscenely over-the-top, intense, towering barrages of almost blackened death metal type extremity like akin to Behemoth, a slew of riffs and technical assaults and harmonized vocals that bring to mind like Cynic and like early to mid-90s Death. From here, we transition into the message, Tablet 1, which at first, and maybe I'm crazy here, but at first, it has more in common with, like, a really emotive black gaze number. Like, there's a sense of, like, yearning and desperation here. You have some more melancholic, soft-spoken chords and licks here, and that's contrasted often with screaming vocals and some more black metal-esque kind of batterings. Like, I genuinely feel it's fair to say that the first half of this cut has more in common with Lantlos than it does with, say, Suffocation or Morbid Angel. Now, that being said, the latter half is pure Suffocation and Morbid Angel. Tons of sick, slimy, stewy grooves and nasty tones and absolutely brutal vibes galore. And after this, we get into the Message Tablet 2, which is maybe my favorite cut on the entire record because it just goes full-blown progressive rock and metal. After a pretty explosive Mastodon-esque opening with winding guitars and roaring soulful licks, we launch into some more spacious and contemplative Pink Floyd-style psychedelic and prog rock. Like the use of very relaxed, layered, clean vocals and acoustics and minimalistic production just creates an incredibly laid-back, powerful kind of atmosphere and vibe. It makes me think that I could actually play this for people who I know who don't listen to metal, and they'd get a lot out of this. I'm not going to advocate for doing drugs because I don't know where you're from and I don't know if what I'm about to say is legal or not, but I will say that here in this beautiful country of Canada, smoking weed, very legal, and I would love to just hotbox this fucking apartment and blast this fucking shit. And much like how the album is a combination and culmination of everything Blood Incantation have done before, the Message Tablet 3 is a combination and culmination of everything Blood Incantation are doing right here, right now, on this album. Diverse, varied, powerful, with spacious psychedelic and prog rock sections, more classic cosmic progressive death metal riffs and batterings and beatdowns, more brutal, intense, extreme assaults, plenty of epic, soaring moments. And may I say, too, one of the most absolutely beautiful and stunning climaxes to any song and to any album I think I have heard this year. Like, horns, strings, keyboards, guitars galore, working in harmony, working in unison, just absolutely fucking it the fuck up in the best way possible. And then transitioning from there again into contemplative, spacious ambience and synthwave. It's beautiful. I almost shed a tear. It was genuinely stunning, in my opinion. Blood Incantation did not set out to make a cool, fun, proggy death metal record. They set out to make an experience, something that was fulfilling and cathartic and unique, action-packed with a variety of twists and turns and crazy and exciting and impactful detours, one that allowed everyone in Blood Incantation to really strut their stuff, flex their muscles, let their freak flag fly. It builds on the success and momentum of everything Blood Incantation have done up to this point. It introduces so many new ideas and concepts and sounds to Blood Incantation. Sometimes metalheads will get really mad at me when I don't give like a regular metal album like a 5 out of 5 or something close to a 5 out of 5. You know, they'll be like, oh, how come you don't enjoy anything? How come you don't think this record is perfect? It is, in my opinion. And if it is perfect in your opinion, then great, fine, go for it, whatever, fuck it, you do you. For me, a 5 out of 5 means that an album is truly perfect. A 5 out of 5 is a score that I give to an album that provides a perfect experience. Not one that just provides a bunch of sick riffs, bro! So metal! Yeah! Like, I want to leave a 5 out of 5 album with a 5 out of 5 experience. And that is what Absolute Elsewhere gave me. And that is why I am giving this a very, very rare and very deserved 5 out of 5. That is why I am telling you, this is a perfect fucking record. I mean, for fuck's sakes, even Thrashin' Jackson is on board, and that's a guy who unironically really does hate everything. Why you giving me shit? He literally hates everything, and he loves this. How you doing over there, Thrashin' Jackson? Are we feeling better?
Please let me speak to my son, Sharon. I know I traded him for Slayer tickets and a 6-pack of beer, but that was a different time and I was a different man. No, it wasn't 5 weeks ago. It was 5 years ago. No, it wasn't 5 beers ago. I said years ago. I'll have you know, I'm clean and sober. As of now. Please, Sharon. Please.
All right, I'm going to take that as a no, and we're going to go outside and get some fresh air. You need it. Holy shit. 5 out of 5. I really don't know what else to say. In my opinion, this is a perfect record. It doesn't get more perfect than this. You definitely need to check it out. If you don't, you fucked up. End of story. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Of course you like this record. The fuck is wrong with you? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. Boom, an interview I did with the Blood Incantation guys a couple of years ago. It actually still feels relevant because we kind of talked about some of the stuff that they might do on this album. Boom, some other fucking video. I don't know. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.